We're on to week 3 of the NFL season, but let's look back at week 2. I'm Meredith Gorman, joined by George Balekji, and it's tea time.
That's right.
All right, so I was at the Patriots game last night. We saw them continue to struggle to execute in games. They're now 0-2 to start the season, which, believe it or not, is their worst start since 2001. That was a pretty long time ago.
Super Bowl winning year.
True. I mean,
I don't see the same on the horizon for these guys, though.
no Tom Brady at the helm with this team. But that being said, one of the things that guys talked about after the game was just, the discipline is there, the belief in themselves is there, but that execution, they just can't figure out what that missing puzzle piece is. I don't know what the missing key is kind of what guys in the locker room were saying, but they have hope that they're going to get it together before they hit the road and face the Jets this week.
Yeah, they'll need it against that defensive line. I think the missing piece, and I said it before the game when Trent Brown was ruled out, he's a linchpin for that offensive line. Lowe did fine at left tackle. Calvin Harrison at right tackle really struggled. Mac Jones was given like 2.5 seconds to pass at best. And for a defensive line for the Dolphins, without Jalen Phillips to play that well and just dominate the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, the missing piece to me are the pieces on this roster. That they have good guys, David Andrews up front, Mac Jones and Ramondre Stevenson leading the backfield, and receivers, but they don't have that talent to put them over the top, and they're overmatched. I looked back to since Mac has been the quarterback for the Patriots, 1 in 15 in games when their opponent scores more than 24 points. That says a lot. The defense can do their part. They did their part last night, certainly keeping Tyreek Hill and Tua Tagovailoa in check. The offense needs to step up and help them fill out on that.
And capitalize on those opportunities that the defense has given them the past couple of weeks. Now, while we stay on the topic of the AFC East, let's look at the Jets. Patriots face them week 3. And with Aaron Rodgers out with a torn Achilles, you'd think they might be catching a break with Zach Wilson at the helm now and the team just losing 30-10 to the Cowboys. But you really can't sleep on the Jets or write them off considering how stacked that roster really is right now.
Yeah, and it starts on the defense for them. That's a top 3 unit in the NFL. Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed on the outside, Quinnen Williams, who's the best defensive tackle in the middle. For an offensive line, we just saw get dominated with Cole Strange and Mike Onwenu making their season debuts. Quinnen Williams, it won't be any easier. I'm literally worried about Mac Jones making it out of these next 2 games in one piece because he's getting hit constantly. We saw him get sacked multiple times. Andrew Van Ginkel looked like Myles Garrett. What is Quinnen Williams as a defensive tackle going to look like? He's going to dominate. So this Jets team, the defense will keep them in it. Zach Wilson still looks overwhelmed and he doesn't know what's happening, but hand the ball to Dalvin Cook, hand the ball to Breece Hall. Garrett Wilson can get open. Christian Gonzalez has played well. So there's a lot that goes into this, but this reeks of at MetLife Stadium, 16-10 final, Jets get a win.
All right, and while we look at another team that's not in the AFC East, the Cincinnati Bengals, they're also off to an 0-2 start to the season, similarly to the Patriots. This comes after Joe Burrow signs that massive contract, and the team loses both division games that they started the season with to the Browns and Ravens. It kind of seems like a big surprise. I don't know how much of the blame goes on Joe Burrow for this, though.
He had a calf strain in the preseason, so that's why he didn't play. It's not like he sat out or held out. But this is what happens when you have to get back up to speed, get your timing down. We've seen him and Jamar Chase struggle to find a connection so far. And take it where it is, where there's progress. Week 1, they lose to a really good Browns defense 24-3. That was bad. There's no other way to put it. Week 2, 27-24 in a shootout with the Ravens. Lamar Jackson doing what he does. That's what's going to happen. Divisional games are really difficult, especially early in the season. They'll find their footing. I'm not worried about the Bengals. You just want to see Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and that offense start clicking sooner rather than later. That's for sure.
All right, week 2 of the NFL season certainly didn't disappoint, George. The storylines through the first 2 weeks have been beyond what we could have imagined, between stars going down super early in the year, teams losing that we really thought would be off to a strong start to begin the season, and we haven't even kind of scraped the bottom of the barrel here with storylines.
When we look ahead past the Jets, it'll be the Cowboys outscoring their first 2 opponents 70-10. I know it was the Giants and the Jets. The Giants looked bad, but they came back yesterday. But this defense is legit. Micah Parsons, who's the betting favorite for Defensive Player of the Year, looks unblockable and unstoppable. Great corners on the outside. If Dak can keep it at 10-2, the Cowboys could be contending and should be for the NFC. The Patriots, like I said earlier, I don't know if Mac Jones comes out in one piece these next 2 games. It's a tough sledding. 1-3 to me was a prediction. 0-4 wouldn't shock me because of how bad this offense has looked.
And considering how the Patriots locker room looked last night after that game against the Dolphins finished, guys had their hands, around their head, towels over their head. They were really soaking in that feeling of discouragement and defeat, right? So if they go 0-4,
Yeah.
That place is not going to be.
It went from being they weren't happy, but there was moral victories after that Eagles loss. I mean, and no matter what they want to say, there's moral victories. This one is frustrations already mounting because again, it's like no matter what we do, we're outmatched, we're coming up short, and it's the depth chart, it's the roster, it's all put together by Bill, the GM. He's letting them down in this spot.
That's right. Tons of storylines this week, but we'll wrap up our tea time with this.
It was good.
We'll be at Patriots this week as they get ready for their first road trip of the year, and they head to New York to face the Jets. Make sure to follow along with Nesson for all of your NFL updates this week.
PNC Bank, helping to make banking easier.